morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at the complete set list from Shining Fates. Now, when I say we're going to look at the complete set list, what we're not going to be doing is just having a slideshow of every card in the set. That's not terribly important. What we are going to be doing is, now that we know the official set list, what we can do is take a look at the notable things that were, and in some cases were not included, and give you the information that you need in that regard. Yes, all of the shiny Pokemon that were over in the Japanese set are going to be in there. We don't need to talk about that. We've already talked about that. I did a video showing you all the shiny cards in Japan. I'll link it in the description. We are cool. It is important to note that, yes, we are getting the Charizard VMAXS. That is one of the ones we're getting, but there are a whole bunch of shiny cards coming, and I, for one, am absolutely delighted. But there's so much more than that. Now, the Charizard is, of course, the big money card in the set. That is going to be the one for which everybody is looking. Of course, over in Japan, they also had the Shiny Charizard V in their Shining Fates, which is this, well, they call it Shiny Star V, we call it Shining Fate. It's a very similar kind of thing, but it's important to note that we already had that card in Champion's Path, so of course it's not going to be in this set. It was in Champion's Path. Speaking of other things that were included, we are getting both Eternatus V and Eternatus VMAXS in those ridiculous gold versions. We are not going to be getting the gold Zacian and Zamazenta because they are coming in the Ultra Premium Collection. Well, the Ultra Premium Collection has both of them. There are separate Elite Trainer Box Premium things that have one or the other in. But the point is, they are in separate collections which have already been announced. They are out, incidentally, in some place. I've seen some people opening them. We are getting them, a lot of people I know are getting them next month in March. So we're getting the 2 gold cards. We're not getting the 4 gold cards that Japan had, because 2 of them have already been earmarked to be released somewhere else. Probably the biggest omission, because again, I don't think we can really moan about the whole Zacian Zamazenta thing. We knew it was coming. The biggest omission here is that we're not getting Full Art Marnie. And not getting Full Art Marnie is like a proper big deal. Full Art Marnie in Japan, I think at the moment, is actually selling for more than the Shiny Charizard VMAXS. I've certainly seen some ridiculous auction numbers, which is crazy. This is a money card, because it's a full art, it's Marnie, she's very popular, etc. We don't actually know what's happening to Full Art Marnie. Maybe Full Art Marnie is going to be coming along in Battle Styles later on. Maybe Marnie comes in her own little box. But then again, we don't usually have these premium boxes to showcase full art supporters, so I would think that unlikely. If you're asking for my guess, I think they've probably moved her into Battle Styles. If you're asking me why, maybe to make Battle Styles a more appealing set, because they knew they had enough already in Shining Fates to make it really sought after, but they thought moving this card into Battle Styles would make that set more appealing. That would be my guess, though we don't know for absolute certain. The good news is that the Full Art Skylar will be in the set, so yay, and people love Full Art Skylar. Skylar will be another very popular card. Not Marnie popular, but still pretty popular. What is kind of cool, and I did really tell you this before, but let me reiterate it now, the VMAXS that came around in that Japanese box a little while ago, they are being included in this set. Now, these are not all hideously exciting. The Cinderace and Morpeko are just alternate art reprints. And don't get me wrong, they're cool alternate art reprints, but they are just alternate art reprints of cards we've already had. But the Delmise and Cramorant are absolutely brand new. Now, we're talking about a lot of cards in this set, and we do not have the time in this video to really get deep into all of the analysis of how good the cards are. But I've already done that in other videos, so what I'm going to try and do is pop a whole bunch of links in the description, so when I mention a card like Cramorant or Delmise, you can just pop over to the description, and there will be a link to a video where I go through it in a whole bunch of detail explaining why I think the cards are good, or if I don't think they're good, explaining why they're not. So those VMAXs are confirmed for the set now. 2 of them, awesome brand new cards. 2 of them, alternate art reprints of cards that haven't seen a huge amount of play. The other thing that's really cool is that we are getting Professor's Research Juniper and Boss's Orders Lysander. Now, do remember they are exactly the same cards as Boss's Orders Magnolia. No. Professor's Research Magnolia. Boss's Orders Giovanni's. But they are just different characters. But again, these are just new versions of the cards. Now, I know that some people already have these and already have multiple playsets. Hi, my name's Wassy and I already have multiple playsets of both of these cards. But that doesn't really matter, because there are going to be newer players who don't have multiple versions of these cards. So you know what? I'm digging this. I am loving that these cards are coming out. They are reprints. They're cool, but they're reprints. But for newer players, people who are picking up Shining Fates because they're all shiny and then might want to get into actually playing the game later, including these staples, are really cool. Plus, I think both of these are better than the original versions. I'm picking Juniper over Magnolia and I'm picking Lysander over Giovanni's. Come at me in the comment section. It is also kind of cool that we are getting the male version of INDEEDEE V. Of course, INDEEDEE V, the female version, was in Sword and Shield, the base set, but there was a male version that came around as a promo that was first seen as a Chinese card, which is a little bit weird, just because we rarely see them debuting as Chinese cards. We generally see Japanese or English. This was a Champions League promo over in Japan, and it has finally been confirmed as making its way out over here. It is just exactly the same card that we got in Sword and Shield with different artwork, but it is a new artwork of the card, so collectors should be pretty pleased. It's not proven to be a powerhouse card, however, so, well, to be fair, it's seen a bunch of play, so it is a decent card. Now, one thing that is weird that we are getting that we honestly should have got earlier is Full Art ALCREMIE V and Rainbow Rare ALCREMIE VMAXS. And it is frankly strange because these should have been in Champion's Path. Like, ALCREMIE V and VMAXS were in Champion's Path. It is super weird that we didn't get them in Champion's Path. They totally should have been in Champion's Path. Not entirely sure why they were omitted. It would have made Champion's Path a better set, although it was a double Charizard set, so, you know. But, you know, it's not like we desperately need to have ALCREMIE V and VMAXS fancy versions in this set to make people go and buy it. But regardless, they have now been confirmed as coming in this particular set. So I suppose that's rather nice. Now, one thing that is important to note is that there are not many Pokemon Vs in this set at all. Now, we are getting Cinderace, Morpeko, Cramorant, and Dhelmise. But that's because I told you that these VMAXs from over in Japan are all going to be coming in this particular set. So we kind of had to. Otherwise, we'd have that weird situation where we had VMAXs without the Pokemon Vs, and that was just a little bit weird. We don't want that. So we do now have those 4 Pokemon Vs coming. But we're also getting a reprint of Crobat V. Now, Crobat V, of course, is that awesome card. Play it from your hand to your bench, draw 2, you got 6 cards in your hand. At the moment, that and Dedenne are our draw engines, our basic Pokemon to play to draw cards early in the game. But remember that Dedenne is going to be rotating out in August, September time when we hit the rotation, which means we're not going to have any other options, really, other than Crobat. So now the confirmation that we are going to be getting Crobat V here just makes this card more available. It means more copies are going to be out there. It's going to bring the price of the card down. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful thing indeed. It is also worth noting that both Ditto V and Ditto VMAXS will make their debuts in the set. These are cards that came around in the Shining Fates equivalent, Shiny Star V, over in Japan. So it's kind of cool that we are now getting them. They're brand new cards, never before seen. They were always going to be in the set, but it's cool that they are. Also, Greedent V. Now, Greedent V is not a card I'm particularly high on. I don't think it's a particularly powerhouse card, but it is a promo Pokemon V that came out in Japan a little while ago. We didn't have it, and now it's been confirmed that it is going to be coming in this set. So that's kind of lovely. We are, remember, going to be getting 3 amazing rares in this set. Those being Kyogre, Reshiram, and Eviltau. All of these look absolutely amazing, and all of them look absolutely awkward to use, but having a son called Archie and this Kyogre looking really fun, you know I am going to be trying to use this. Is it going to work? Probably not, but you know I'm going to be trying to make a Kyogre deck, and if I can make it work, you have my word that I am absolutely going to. These are all pretty cool cards. Again, I'll pop links to videos about them in the description. It is just those 3 amazing rares, but then again, given that they were the 3 amazing rares in Shiny Star V, totally got all the Japanese ones, woo! It's kind of, we saw that coming, shall we say. Now, there are not many new cards in the set, other than some of the Vs and VMAXs I've mentioned, but there are a handful, 7 by my counting, of actually potentially genuinely relevant cards that are going to be coming in this set that aren't Vs or VMAXs or amazing rares or anything like that, just regular cards, although some of them do have shiny versions, that are actually going to be relevant potentially competitively. So we've got the Celebi, that if it is in the active, you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, find an energy and put it into your hand. Yes, that does include special energy. These were from the Blastoise and Venusaur VMAXS decks in Japan. They're coming out here. And the Manaphy, that same deal, except instead of an energy, it's a Pokemon. Again, these are good cards that should see a whole bunch of play. Now, we are getting Rusted Sword. Now, Rusted Sword is one of the really good cards from the set. Rusted Sword just gives an extra 30 damage to your Zacian V, and that sees a bunch of play. Over in Japan, you got 1 Rusted Sword or Rusted Shield per box of Shiny Star V. The pull rates were very low. Rusted Shield gives Zamazenta V an extra 70 HP. It's not as good. I opened up 2 boxes of Shiny Star V. I don't need to tell you whether I got the sword or the shield. Sad face. We are going to be getting Ball Guy, which lets you search for 3 item cards with ball in their name of different types and put them into your hand. Bearing in mind, we have had it confirmed we are getting a Level Ball reprint, which combined with Great Ball and Quick Ball that already see a whole bunch of play, means that this is likely to see a card which is going to make its way into a bunch of decks. There is a new Coughing coming, which is relevant because it's got Ascension, and Ascension means that you can evolve up into Galarian Wheezing essentially straight away, which is super relevant because remember that Galarian Wheezing ability locks your opponent. So essentially you go second, use Ascension, and your opponent is then ability locked for all but 1 turn in the entire game. And that 1 turn where they weren't ability locked, they were going first, so they couldn't attack and they couldn't use a supporter card, and that is not a great thing for them. And finally, there is a Rotom coming. Rotom, when you play it from your hand to your bench, you get to search your deck for a couple of cards with Rotom in their name and put them into your hand. And I really like this. I like it with Rotom Bike because Rotom Bike lets you draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand, but it ends your turn. So you only really want it on turn 1. So you only really want to play 1 copy of it. So now I can Quick Ball for a Rotom, Rotom for a Rotom Bike. I think it's a really good turn 1 option. I know not a lot of people agree with me, and that's fine, but I like it rather a lot. When Champions Path came out, an awful lot of people disliked the set because it was basically you draw one of the 2 Charizards out of your packs, or it ain't good. This is not Champions Path. For starters, there are a lot of shiny Pokemon. But even if you ignore the shiny part of the set and just focus on the main set, we've got some playable cards, we've got some new arts of staples, we've got some genuinely new Vs and VMAXs, we've got a reprint of Crobat V, which is pretty awesome, and actually, I think there's quite a bit in this set worth getting excited about. I do understand that for a lot of people it's basically search for shiny cards or bust, but there are cards in this set that are actually going to make an impact on the competitive scene. There are new decks potentially, which are going to be, well, there are new decks, which are going to be coming out because of this set. It is not just pull Charizard or bust. But at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.